Hello, this is Tim here again, another review, this time for Werewolf by Night, the next Marvel special. Now, Phase 4 of Marvel has been a bit like all over the place. There's been some good, some bad. Mostly it's just kind of been wavering in between. For the most part, I've kind of liked the what they've done with the television special stuff in the miniseries so far. But overall, Phase 4 has just kind of been, in the middle ground there. But Werewolf by Night, I gotta say, from 1 to 4 stars, I'd give it a solid 4 out of 4. This was awesome. It is not perfect, it is not a masterpiece, but it was awesome. It's a simple type of story. This is not a superhero film or superhero show. Similar to She-Hulk, this is pretty much like its own thing. It's not even, like She-Hulk is not a superhero show, even though it has the Hulk in it and a Hulk character. It's not a superhero show. This isn't either. This is pretty much a monster movie. At first, it almost seems like it takes place back in like the 18th century or something. But by the end, though, the people have like contemporary weapons, so it must take place nowadays. But you got like this family or whatever, like the Bloodstone family or something. And you got like this chick who's there who has like problems with her parents or whatever, her father, and actually took after her mother from what we see and what we hear in some exposition dialogue. Her stepmother's there, pretty much treats her like shit the whole time. You get the idea that maybe there's like some kind of rivalry between the two or something, but that's one thing they don't go into enough about why this like black-haired chick or whatever really had such a problem with their family that she ran out on them or whatever. They don't really explain it enough. It's almost, you just kind of get in your head that maybe she just doesn't agree with what they do because they just celebrate killing monsters. But at the end of the movie, when she finds out this guy who she kind of starts to like or whatever is a monster, she does act like she's afraid of him and talks about him going to kill her. But you would think if she was disappointed in the fact that her family didn't like monsters, she would be more open to saying that, no, you can control this, whatever. But they don't really do that. So it doesn't really explain why she had such a problem with her family. But other than that, though, the acting is good here. The guy who plays like the main dude who actually turns out to be a werewolf actually does a great job here. At first, I was like, is that Joel Kinnaman? Because he kind of looked like Joel Kinnaman. I was like, did you go from DC to Marvel, Joe? But no, it's not Joe. But yeah, overall, that actor does a great job. But yeah, it's pretty much, you got all these hunters here, and the dude who owned the Bloodstone or whatever, the father figure, is dead. And if you kill this random monster who has the Bloodstone on it, you get to have the Bloodstone. And apparently it gives you like magical powers, whatever you decide to take from it. It can make you immortal as well, basically. And I believe that's what they said. And the Bloodstone, I believe, is actually something from some kind of vampire mythology or mythology in general, because I know it's in the Subspecies movies, and the vampires in that kept trying to get it to use it to expand their power or whatever. So apparently this is an idea or something that has been used before in other mythologies and stuff. So maybe it is something that exists in like real mythology. I don't know. But they're competing for the Bloodstone, and the hunters all are allowed to kill each other pretty much. And the one like main dude who's there or whatever, he's actually not a hunter. He's like just lying to get in there because he's really trying to save the monsters. Kind of like this Cthulhu looking thing or whatever, a tentacle face, but also looks like the Swamp Thing. It's actually really gentle if it just wants to live, basically. And I like that the dude says his name is Ted. Just call him Ted and he'll communicate with you. I believe that's what he says, that the creature's name was Ted, which I thought was funny. And the main dude ends up teaming up with the girl or whatever, the guy who looks like Joel Kinnaman. He teams up with the daughter who's like there to get the Bloodstone as well. And then they find out that he's a monster, and they electrocute him and take him hostage. And they got her there like trapped in this little container thing or whatever, cage, I guess, with him. And they're like, he's going to transform. When he does, he'll kill you. Of course, we know he's not going to. But he transforms into a werewolf, hence the title Werewolf by Night. So he turns into the werewolf, and it almost seemed like an underworld movie because he breaks out, and him and the girl are like working together, and they're doing like some action and all that. And good blood. I like the blood that we get here, and I also like that this is shot in black and white. It's pretty cool. And by the end of it, it transforms into color while playing like the Wizard of Oz, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which is a nice homage to Wizard of Oz. That's pretty cool. He shows up there, and he turns into werewolf, and he's like whooping everybody's ass. And the main like stepmother or whatever, who's been an asshole the whole time, she's like trying to kill him with the Bloodstone. And then the chick like shoots her in the back and yanks her down, and she walks over there. The werewolf recognizes her, of course. Doesn't brutally rip her throat out, so we kind of see that coming. He breaks out of the building, runs off. The Ted creature shows up just as the old lady's getting up to kill the daughter of the guy who used to own the Bloodstone, who she's pretty much, you can tell she's going to be like the main good guy or whatever of this special. I'm just going to call it a movie, of this movie. So she's getting ready to kill her, and then the tentacle Swamp Thing monster named Ted shows up and crushes her into like dust, which is pretty cool. I was glad she was killed. She was so annoying. And so the chick gets to take over her father's castle, and she gets the Bloodstone, while the creature just runs off to go be with the werewolf dude. And it pretty much ends with them like sitting there talking or whatever, out in the middle of the woods. And he's like, "Is the chick okay?" And then Ted's like telling him like, well, we don't know what he's saying because he's speaking monster language, but we get the idea though that he's saying like, yeah, she was fine. And they're like sitting there laughing about it together as it goes off. Yeah, all in all, this was awesome. I really enjoyed the transition from color to from the transition from black and white to color. On one hand, it wasn't really needed because I think it would have made more sense if this actually took place in the past, which I don't think it does because they got contemporary weapons, so I'm assuming it takes place in the future. Or contemporary weaponry. But, or the present, I guess. But yeah, overall, the black and white did add flavor to it. Gave it a nice, like, fun, artistic flavor. So yeah, this was awesome. Should these characters come back? I think so. Would I want to see them like join the MCU and stuff? Well, I mean, join like the Avengers or whatever. I mean, I don't know. It would kind of be cool to have a werewolf on the Avengers team, like ripping shit apart and stuff. That could be fun. I think characters like this and stuff would be more appropriate for like the Blade movies. Like put these guys in like a Blade sequel or something with Marshall Ali or whatever. Whenever that gets off the ground. But yeah, overall, this was awesome. This is probably second or number one favorite of the series that they've done for Disney Plus. I think I still like Loki better than this. But overall, yeah, this was awesome. It was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. But again, it's not really a superhero movie or even a superhero show, whatever you want to call this, or special. But yeah, for what it is, though, it's pretty much a monster movie. And for that, it really entertaining. Nothing a masterpiece and nothing groundbreaking, but awesome nonetheless. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.